Welcome back everyone, it is LaughNgamez here, and today we're back with another Starcraft 2 cast. I know it's been a day or two since I did a cast, and my excuse for that is going to be that I had family over, and I usually do my casts at nighttime, so I don't think they'd have appreciated me, sort of shouting in the middle of the evening. Anyway, so without further ado, we have a Terran versus Protoss on the map Invader. We have vertical spawns here. And without further ado, spawning up in the top left-hand side of this map, it is the blue Protoss playing for Ting. It is Neeb, the North American Protoss god, and his opponent. Spawning down in the bottom left-hand side of the map, it is the red Terran player. It is ByuN. ByuN is a very solid Korean Protoss player. He is just known to be on top since Legacy of the Void. So he's just incredibly solid, but his opponent Neeb is also known to be an incredibly strong player really since Legacy of the Void. This is where both these two players started to come out and really kick some ass here, so it should be a very good matchup between these two guys right now. So far we have Neeb moving out with a scouting probe and another probe to make a nexus here, and he is going to get lucky and scout that this is vertical spawns first. It makes sense to go and scout vertical first because it is less of a distance. If you go to check if it's horizontal spawns, your probe has to go all the way around here with that cruddy camera movement. But so now Neeb now knows that it is vertical spawn, so he knows the situation he's in, and this really means that the threat of drops is always a factor on this map, but it's a bit less than if they were horizontal spawns. So Neeb's probably going to commit a little less to defending his sort of back of his base, but we can still see drops come out of ByuN here. And for the build order, we actually did have a fast 2 gases coming out here out of ByuN. Meanwhile, Neeb is just getting up his second gas now, so ByuN's definitely going for some very, very greedy play here. Well, not necessarily greedy, but he's rushing tech here. So this is going to actually be an aggressive build. I was completely wrong with the call greed there. Just, he's committing very heavily to this, is basically what I'm meaning here. He's getting out of Widowmine, he's starting to produce Marines. This is going to be some very early aggression coming out of ByuN here. And since this is going to be so early, because this was a double gas factory and starport before CC, this could end the game very, very quickly here. The question is whether Neeb scouts this and whether he's prepared for it. Neeb is actually moving out across the map with this adept, so he's gonna notice what's going on. He'll notice that there's no natural command center here with the adept, but it'll already be starting to get close to the time which ByuN's moving out with that drop. By the time he notices, the adept is moving in, and ooh, there's actually the Widowmine here. Is Neeb paying attention? Oh no, he's not paying attention, and the Widowmine actually kills off the adept. That is huge out of ByuN. Oh dear. If I was Neeb right now, I'd be saying, oh no. Now, that adept did not die completely in vain here. He knows there's a Widowmine out, which means he knows there's a factory out, which he can probably put 2 and 2 together and assume there's no natural command center yet, and assume there's a Widowmine drop coming out, because that's why Terran players make Widowmine so early on. So what's Neeb doing back for defense here? He's getting up an extra gateway, he's producing out another adept and getting out an oracle, which is going to be critical to get off a revelation. He's got out his mothership core, so he will be able to photon overcharge this pylon. It's really how he's going to be able to defend this. Another pylon going up to the top of this ramp will be able to photon overcharge. The mine being dropped though, and ByuN's going to start working away on this mothership core before it finishes though. Photon overcharge going down here. Oracle using the revelation here, and has actually managed to kill off the Widowmine here. However, there's plenty of Marines left here, and Neeb is forced to pull the probes to deal with it. Oh no, but here's the struggle now. These Hellions came in through the back, scared off all these probes, and now he's just starting to do so much economic damage here. 6 probes have already gone down. Probes are forced to continuously fight against this Phoenix, working away on the Medivac, but all these units are starting to go down for Neeb. He's just lost 11 workers here. Now, this, as weird as it is to say, we just saw ByuN do so much damage there. Neeb had such a hard time dealing with that attack. ByuN came and dropped those Marines. The Widowmine was killed off early, but he still managed to get so much damage done with those Marines and Hellions. But if we look at the worker count here, Neeb is still ahead, and he already has his Nexus has been up and mining for a while now, so he'll be able to transfer some probes, whereas ByuN's only now just getting up his extra command center, so Neeb is going to have a worker lead, and he's going to keep it. Now, on the upside for ByuN, he did get all this tech up early, so he's able to start making things like siege tanks, like more, I guess, more tech-full units for Terran. And he actually because he had that earlier factory, he got out that Cyclone early, and that Oracle is just driven off without doing any damage for Neeb. Cyclone's so effective for cleaning them up. Just locking onto that Oracle and forcing it back. Now, Neeb gonna go back in with this Oracle, probably just gonna stick to trying to get off Revelations and things now. And we did see Neeb make a few Phoenix here, so he's going up to 4, and he's actually going up to a 5th Phoenix. So Neeb is committing a bit to these Phoenix. Drops can be very effective on this map, as we saw from ByuN moving in. There's lots of open area which drops can come in. So these Phoenix are a great choice out of Neeb here. We now see this Oracle has still just moved across, not gotten any more kills here. Just trying to see what it can see. And now this is, okay, so this is where we see that Neeb's made his choice here. He's getting up a 3rd Nexus. This is very common for Protoss to get a fast 3rd Nexus in Legacy of the Void. So it's common for Protoss to be getting up a faster 3rd base here. The question is whether Terran will try to punish it, or whether ByuN is going to just try to macro up. But regardless, if he tries to macro up, he will be a bit behind in this regard. Now, the few Phoenix coming and picking off a few Marines here, so bold for Neeb, and now he's just still sharking around with these Phoenix, trying to get any damage he can done, and he's starting to do a fair bit here. He's picked off some workers, picked off Marines, shaving ByuN down here and there. As this 3rd base gets up, and now we see Neeb has been getting up a robotics bay. He's been getting out Immortals. He's started an upgrade on his Forge. ByuN also has his +1 on the way, but since ByuN was sort of going so tech heavy, he should have lots of units and lots of sort of tech, but not macro at this stage, and he does. But Neeb is going to get this armor upgrade, so he's not going to fall super behind in these upgrades. And now Neeb getting up lots of gates here. So Neeb is not really skipping a beat here by all means. These Phoenix... Oh, I think he did actually lose a Phoenix or 2 there. Oh dear, yeah. Neeb now actually down to just 3 Phoenix, so he must have lost 1 or 2 there. But still being so bold here with these Phoenix, picking off individual Marines when there's more around. Oh, this is interesting. Neeb is going for extended thermal lance here. This is something. Neeb is making Colossus, that means. And well, the fact that he's making a Colossus points to the fact that he's making Colossus. But Neeb is gonna likely be committing to these. He's gonna be going Phoenix Colossus. He's still producing Phoenix here. He's getting up a Twilight, so it's likely gonna be Blink Stalker, Phoenix Colossus. Now this is if you're familiar with older Starcraft, this was such a popular composition back in the day. And the question is, will ByuN be able to do this? Now, Colossus don't do as much damage as they used to, but they were recently buffed a bit back up. They were nerfed 20%, then buffed up 10% in attack speed to sort of compensate. So Colossus are trying to be viable again here, and Neeb's trying to be one of the people that makes it viable. So Neeb needs to be prepared for this attack though, and the question is whether this Colossus and Phoenix will be able to hold off this attack, as there's so many siege tanks here for ByuN, and siege tanks are so effective versus Adept. So it's going to be up to these 2 Colossus to sort of carry the weight here. What they do have extended thermal lance done now, and this is going to be very good for Neeb, as ByuN has lots of Marines here. Oh no, the Oracle moving in for Neeb, getting picked off as it was misrallied. Neeb is sort of in a lot of trouble here. He teched very heavily, whereas ByuN was just preparing for a large attack for a while now, and now the large attack is here. Neeb's army not quite ready here, although he gets amazing force field too. That was absolutely amazing coming in, and Neeb managing to trap those Marines back while the Colossus absolutely shredded them. Adept shading onto these siege tanks, whether he's going to let them commit. No, he's not. He's going to stay back, bide his time for a minute here. Phoenix still sharking around to get whatever they can. And now Neeb waiting to get a 3rd Colossus here. As more and more Colossus build up, this army gets more and more scary. Neeb warping in another round of Adepts. He's probably going to either want to move out to secure another base here. However, it might be too late for Neeb to do this. ByuN's already teching into starports here, which will just shred the Colossus. So the question is whether Neeb is going to have to commit to an all-in or try to get up another Nexus here. And so far, he's not queued up a Nexus. So it might be best for Neeb to go all in at this stage in the game, as he has these scary Colossus. He's even on army supply, so he's going to have a very effective army here versus just Marines, and siege tanks are not too good versus Colossus or Adepts, as if the Adepts do properly shade on the siege tanks. So Neeb has made up, no, Neeb sort of made up his mind here, but then he changed it. Ooh, look at that. Those Phoenix have actually been delaying this command center for a while now, just picking up the SCVs here and there. He did lose the Phoenix, but denying that command center once again is very effective. So Neeb's going to be a bit behind on the third base speed if we look here. ByuN's gotten his up a bit sooner, so the income will start to go into ByuN's favor here. However, Neeb is not super far behind here, but regardless, we're still going to see Neeb move in for a large attack here. These Colossus are abusing this ledge very effectively, but there's almost no buffer on the load run for Colossus, so a few units for ByuN managing to pick off one of them, but although the Adepts managed to shade up to the top here and get on top of all these siege tanks, it seems that all the units are going down for ByuN. The Phoenix absorbing these Viking shots, buying time. So these Colossus are going to be able to reign supreme and shred this Terran army and all the Terran units here. The workers being absolutely destroyed here. And ByuN's third base has been shut down now. It seems Neeb is not done yet. He's going to move in and try to continue to pressure here. However, he doesn't want to overextend. I'm bringing forward some Stalkers though. These Stalkers do not have Blink, keep in mind, as Neeb never researched that. But he does still have a very scary army here, but ByuN, the longer this goes on, the more time ByuN's going to have to hold this off. One of the Colossus is weak, but Neeb playing so perfectly, putting that Colossus in the back so the Vikings don't pick it off as easily. But now we see ByuN moving in for the attack here. The sentries don't have much energy here, so no force fields going down just yet. However, the Colossus are still kiting and absolutely shredding through this bio here, but one of the Colossus falls to the Viking, the other starting to go down now. ByuN focusing the weak Colossus, but he traded off a lot of units there, so now it seems that Neeb's going to push forward. There's only a few Marauders and Marines here, but it seems that ByuN might have managed to hold just barely. Oh no, never mind. Neeb's actually coming in for another attack here. He's going to give it another go. So many Vikings are just making these Colossus absolutely useless at this point. So now it's now gateway units versus bio here. The Stalkers focusing down the Vikings as they land, and the Adepts tanking all these Marauder shots. Marauders take a long time to kill Adepts, so the damage from units like the Stalkers is managing to keep Neeb's aggression on, but it seems that ByuN's managed to hold once again. He did lose 15 SCVs there. That is a lot of SCVs. He is now down a large amount of supply. Almost equal on army supply, but down in supply in total. And this command center was never actually turned into an orbital, so he won't quite have 3 meals here. And it seems that Neeb is actually going to try to force a liftoff on this command center, but ByuN is not going to let that happen here. But he might not have a choice, honestly, now as the SCVs are pulled, so Neeb getting damaged regardless. ByuN's bio stimmed up against his army here, but the Stalkers are just surviving so long with the Adepts tanking in front of them. The Stalkers are forced back for Neeb, so ByuN did manage to hold once again, dropping mules there to try and get back into this game with the income tab. ByuN had an income advantage before, well that is completely now gone as Neeb managed to just come across the map and deal so much counterattack damage there. Now, this is where we see Neeb's plan changing. He went for the Colossus. He now knows ByuN has Vikings, so Neeb's saying, well, Vikings aren't effective versus Disruptors here. So Neeb's now attacking into Disruptors. He's completely changed his tech, and this is Protoss and Legacy of the Void. This is Neeb making such a great call here. He realized the fact Colossus will no longer be effective, as there's Vikings out already. So I'm going to make that Viking investment worth nothing for ByuN, and I'm going to make Disruptors, which are similar to Colossus in effect. We actually see a 4th base going up for Neeb, so trying to secure this lead, but I honestly think Neeb's got this lead secured no matter what he really does. ByuN does need to identify this 4th base and cancel it. That's really the least he needs to do here to stay in this game. Managing to hold off a few Adept harassment here on the side of the map, but Neeb managed to get in another 4 workers there, and that is just such huge damage considering how ByuN's down on 22 workers still. And now Neeb transferring workers, getting up his 4th base here. Neeb is in such a good economic position. He's got an equal army supply right now, so it's really all going to come down to this fight for ByuN, as ByuN's not committing to defense here right now. And now he's bleeding off units as he retreats there. Neeb just has such a scary army. He's taken the lead in army supply now. They were even a minute ago, but now Neeb warping and getting more and more Disruptors. So these Adepts can trade effectively versus the bio here, and the Disruptors are just going to force a split. giving lots of free damage to Neeb's army. I don't know, ByuN's going to have to take a miracle engagement here, and ByuN can't really take an engagement. He just needs to pray that he holds on here, and here we go, Neeb now pushing up the ramp, forcing Devour to stim back with these disruptors, but managing to pick up so many units for ByuN. The splits were not good enough. Oh, so much damage done coming out of those disruptors here for Neeb. I think he got about 15 kills there with those disruptors. Such a good play there coming out of Neeb, managing to take down such a strong Terran player here. Wonderfully played by Neeb, managing to identify that he was behind and making the right call to go all in there. ByuN almost held that with the Vikings, however, he just took a bit too much economic damage there. So, thank you guys for watching. This has been another cast once again. It's been a great Terran versus Protoss. Players like ByuN and Neeb are just always so good to cast. I think I casted ByuN versus Puck, so these North American Protoss are just having a fun time battling it out with Puck. Anyway, if you guys enjoy the cast, feel free to let me know, leave a like, subscribe, as I'm always trying to put out more and more casts here. If you have feedback, feel free to also let me know. Regardless, hopefully I'll see you guys next time.